me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best, yes, it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne.
بالنسبه لما يجيك ستيف بروس مثلا يحط لك 5 في خط الدفاع ويلعب مهاجمين،
Excuse me,
اللاعبين اللي
وليد.
في النص.
What is your VPN?
ماي VPN
Yes.
ماي VPN سبايدر VPN.
Top 10 reasons for footballers to come to لندن. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم في برنامج نيوكاسل مع وليد. برنامجنا اليوم برنامج يوم الأربعاء، برنامج توقيت السعودية، 6 بتوقيت بريطانيا. معنا اليوم ديف وكريستوفر. طبعا راح نتكلم اليوم عن موضوع جديد، ليش اللاعبين نعطيهم أسباب علشان يجون نيوكاسل، أكثر ما يعني 10 أسباب للقدوم لنيوكاسل بدلا من القدوم إلى لندن أو أي مدينة من إنجلترا. نبدأ. طبعا اليوم عندنا برضو الساعة الله أو 10:30 راح نتكلم برضو عن سوق الانتقالات، برنامج منفصل برضو مع كريستوفر وديف. وطبعا مثل 11 عندنا يوم حافل مليء بالأخبار. We would like ladies and gentlemen, lads and lasses, welcome Chris and Dave, and let's start. Dave, what's any news before we start?
About anything? Yeah, just latest is Aaron Ramsey.
That's for another show. I mean,
yeah,
anything.
I'm just saying what I'm saying that's the latest. You know,
think about this guy.
Yeah, Botman,
and we're one of 6 teams in contention for Coutinho.
yeah.
Okay, the game. Coutinho back in the game. So we have, this is just to tease you a little bit. This is we're going to talk on transparency after about. Today we have different topic. Okay, tell me, Dave, why the footballers should come to Newcastle?
Why should they come to Newcastle? Because we are the greatest city in the UK. I don't care what anybody else says. That's how I feel. Myself, I wouldn't look to move away from Newcastle. I love everything about Newcastle. And I think once people actually come here and get to know the region, a lot of people find it hard to leave. There's some people think it's cold, think we're a bit bawdy, and we're technically we're hard to understand, as the song goes.
Yeah, you're quoting.
Yeah,
you're quoting "Take Me Home."
Yeah, so you know that song's exactly the way it is. But the Geordies are possibly the friendliest people in the UK. It doesn't matter where you are, where you're from. If you're walking down the street or you're walking along the beach, you'll always get a good morning or a hello, you know. Whereas if you're walking through London, sorry, Chris, but if you say hello to somebody in London, they panic. What? Why is he talking to us?
I don't talk to people on the street. I think they're going to try to ask me for money or rob me.
Yeah. So it's just one of those places. I think once you get to know the region, it's a brilliant place to live. As I've said to you before on many of what talks I'll lead, Newcastle, you're you're only 45 minutes to an hour's drive from the middle of the Northumberland National Park. And that's the land between England and Scotland, and it's some of the most beautiful countryside you ever want to see. And then from Newcastle city centre, you're only 20 minutes metro ride from the coast. Now, I know we've said this before, about how far Riyadh is from the coast, and it's like 10 hours drive. London is probably even to get from one side of London to the other, can sometimes take people an hour. Whereas from Newcastle, you can be from Newcastle city centre anywhere, and it's just, you've got a city centre conurbation, and then you've got the area surrounding that, and it's a beautiful place to be. The people are some of the friendliest people to be around, and they'll always be there to help you. And our friend who sadly passed away on Monday, Dave Harrison, God rest his soul, he was one of the nicest blokes you could come across. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you'd met the man before or not, but that's your typical Geordie. Once upon a time we were considered to be like hard people. Yeah, because we've been because we have lived in the northeast. It is a hard area. But that makes us more affable to everybody else. We get along. We like to get along with everybody else, and that's why I think Newcastle is a great place for somebody to come to. Yes, we can be footballers, and managers can be in a goldfish bowl, as Ruud Gullit once said. But you've got to enjoy being here. If you don't want to be here, like Michael Owen used to fly home every other day. He didn't stay in the area. You've had other people who've actually taken to the area and hated to leave. And there's a lot of players who stayed here afterwards because it's such a beautiful place. So I'm sorry I'm going on about it, but
no, it's okay. But I didn't get the Owen part. Boyan didn't like to stay, or he said Owen.
Who, Michael Owen? No, Michael Owen, he didn't like the area.
No, I think he liked the area, but he loved his area. And maybe
no, which is why he has a lot of problems. He has a lot of problems because he didn't make Newcastle his home. He didn't make Newcastle his home, and that was his problem. And that's why he didn't fit in as well with the Geordies as what he has done. He should have done. You've got Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe has already said that he intends to move his family here because he wants to make this a long-term thing. So yeah.
Okay.
Makes a big difference.
To hear Chris, but Chris suddenly disappeared.
He's got his pizza.
Oh, he's here. Okay, great. Addition, Chris, to what Dave says.
Yeah, so I'm obviously I live in London, but quite often I feel like the need, as great as London is, I need to get out of London and experience what I would call like real England, because London's a bit of a bubble, and England has such beautiful countryside and other cities like Newcastle, and so it's always a pleasure to come up north, be with my adopted homeland of the Geordies, and echo everything that Dave said. It's real friendly people. It's you're used to like the Middle Eastern hospitality where you meet a stranger and you'd invite the stranger into your home for tea or dinner. And that would never happen in London. In London, there's just kind of this fake code of if you like invite somebody over to your house, that's not a real invitation. it's like people avoid sort of getting together with their friends, almost like. But whereas in the Northeast, it's much more akin to that Middle Eastern hospitality of making friends your family and having people over for meals and to have a night out with the lads. It's just much more sort of welcoming, hospitable community without sort of this. The whole thing about London is everyone wants to be rich and powerful and have the biggest home and the most expensive car, and there's people like that everywhere. But I think, and not to say that life is simpler outside of London, but it's just people have kind of more values, and the value isn't just about money and prestige. It's more about family and friends and connections. And London has six football clubs in the Premier League, and Newcastle is a one club town, and everything kind of revolves around the football club, and it's the cathedral on the hill. And a lot of people are don't earn a lot of money, but they save up what money they can to go and spend on the Saturday or Sunday at St. James Park. And it's it's such a huge part of their life. And this is why for the last 14 years under Mike Ashley, people felt like that they lost a part of themselves because they didn't feel connected to their club, and their club meant everything to them and to their parents and their grandparents, who all went to St. James Park, every other Saturday or Sunday. And to lose 10,000 fans to boycott Mike Ashley, was just indicative of how much he had ripped apart the sort of fabric of this great city, proud city. And what a joy it is to have Amanda and Mehrdad and PIF and the Rubens, Jimmy Rubin, who I think really understand what Newcastle is all about, what the club is all about, what the food bank is all about, and how everything ties together.
Yes, this is Chris, and I really like it, and really I am convinced by you both, but I'm not a footballer or ex-footballer, let's say. Okay, so we have trivia today, and sorry, Chris, I can't resist. We'll play the video, and we'll.
So just to explain for our international viewers, this is The Great Escape, starring the legendary actor Steve McQueen, who I think is quite a strong look-alike for our newest Newcastle player, Kieran Trippier. And also The Great Escape, is a good metaphor for Newcastle, in that Eddie Howe is trying to take Newcastle from a position that I think every other club has been relegated, only having no wins in first 14.
So Chris, in the movie, this came to sum it up in a few words, not the whole story.
Okay, so Steve McQueen, is he's in World War II. He's a soldier in World War II. And this is based on a true story of an escape, of a mass prisoner escape from a German prisoner of war camp. And in the scene, he's attempting to escape on motorcycle. We don't show the whole thing because he ends up getting recaptured this time. He crashes his motorcycle when he's being
No.
surrounded by Germans. But
Okay, so I'm
this is
really
the most
excited
famous
to.
part of this 14-second clip is the most famous part of the movie, and you'll see this clip a lot.
Yeah, so yeah, I will. One.
To me, I think the best part of that movie is when he's in the cell and he's got his baseball and he's bouncing his baseball off the wall, and the German guard looks at him, just shakes his head, because he can't understand. He's just been recaptured, yet he's so cool and so laid back. Just bounce the ball off the wall, bounce the ball off the wall.
Yeah,
Just a brilliant film. It is a brilliant film, and has many metaphors. Yeah.
So now Kieran Trippier have already look alike before just first day in for him in the tone. Dave, how we can convince? Okay, we already convinced Kieran.
Yeah.
How we convince his new colleague will join us soon by evidence. Why Newcastle? Not in England than any other place. By evidence. Let's start with number 10.
Number 10. Number 10. Are you ready for number 10?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to put a picture up?
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Just because we're in Newcastle doesn't mean that we're all flat caps and whippets. We too have our high-end car dealerships. This is our Ferrari garage at our Ferrari dealership in North Tyneside. I went in to speak to the gentleman there who owns that today, and he says he's happy for anybody who wants to come, whether they come from Saudi Arabia or they come as a new Newcastle player. He's happy to sell them a Ferrari. He also runs the garage next door, the dealership next door, which deals with Bentley. And again, he said that anybody who wants to come in and buy a Bentley, whether a footballer or somebody from Saudi Arabia, he's happy to negotiate a deal for selling high-end cars. Now, as much as we've got Ferrari, Bentley, we have Aston Martin. We also have all the other car dealerships, the Audis and the Land Rover, Jaguar, and BMW. But we do have our high end, which are our Ferraris. We have Tesla. We have Maserati. We have dealerships who are selling what do you call them? Lamborghinis. So, yes, just because we're in the Northeast doesn't mean we don't like a fast car. So there you go. You don't have to go to London to get yourself a big fast car. We've got them in Newcastle.
Okay. All right. That's great.
You sold me on number 10, Dave, straight away. I'm sold.
Okay. Curious stuff by Dave. But I want to ask you, he left.
He's gone.
Are you okay with the Jews, Chris?
He's got his Ferrari jacket on.
Okay. Oh yeah. Remember the what we call it, the show we did, Formula One. Yeah. I love Ferrari, but I am from Saudi Arabia, and I never touch a Ferrari even. Okay.
No.
I've been driven in two.
Okay.
This is the only Ferrari I can afford, though.
Okay. So, do you think, okay, that's good stuff, of course, but maybe not all the players' mentality they want a Ferrari. I don't know. Maybe you know better.
No, it's that.
It's an option. It's an option for the class players who like.
Yeah. Every morning when I'm taking my granddaughter to school every morning, coming the opposite way, or normally all the players coming the opposite way, and they're all driving their Porsches, the Audis, you call them Dubravka drives a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
You know, they've got all the high-end cars
Yeah.
that come past. There's nobody drives a Ferrari. Nobody drives stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say is that we have those sort of things. We have that sort of bling up here in the Northeast. So if people think that is what they want, and if that's how they're going to spend their money, then it's there. We've got places for them to go and spend their money, and our dealerships will happily take their money. Doesn't matter who they are.
Excellent, Majdi. I hope, I think Majdi, the engineer, I hope he's the one. Newcastle is the best city in England. I used to live in Leeds, Teesside, Yarm, etc. But of course, Newcastle is the best. Majdi is, I believe he's an engineer, work now in Qatar.
Yeah. Can I just say as well, if anybody in Saudi Arabia wants to buy me a Ferrari, I'm up for it.
Okay. طبعا في إذا أحد يبغى ديف يبغى فيراري. He's ex-players.
We need to teach Dave the term wasta. You have to have wasta in Saudi to get That means like connections.
Oh my God, you are Saudi already, guys. What is this?
Wasta.
Okay, so that's brilliant. So يوجد العديد يعني من السيارات الفارهة طبعا للاعبين. يعني هذا المقصد من هذه النقطة. Number 9, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay, number 9 is what 1 million buy you in London and what 1 million pound can buy you in Newcastle. Is that right, Dave?
Yeah.
So let's start with Chris in London. What million can
my flat? You could buy my flat for 1.3 million.
Okay. So any discount for Newcastle fans?
Discount.
You'd have to ask my landlord in Hong Kong. My whole building is owned by people from like Hong Kong,
Yeah,
investors who probably never seen this flat. They just buy the real estate up in my.
Do you know what it is, Chris? When I was working for Her Majesty Revenue and Customs, that's what we were looking into. Property ownership from abroad, and the number of properties which were being bought up by Russians and Chinese was absolutely amazing. And probably people who actually lived in London just no way could afford to buy one of these properties. But yeah, you know, it's nice that you can have that. And I mean, that's the typical type of house you can buy or flat you can buy in London for $1 million. And it might be in a nice area. And the fact is you are in London, which is fantastic. But for what you get for your money, it's, you know, it's hard. I know you live in a beautiful apartment block, but you know, this is what £995,000 can buy you. You know, in Newcastle. This is
whole home.
It's a home with 7. It's got 7 bedrooms. It's got a massive living room, massive dining room. You know, it's absolutely huge. And that's for £995,000, and that is on the same estate where players like Alan Shearer live, where all the footballers live. It's on Darras Hall, and Darras Hall is, you know, one of the best places to live in Newcastle. It's just outside Newcastle, near the airport. And then you've got Tranmere Woods, which is not far from there as well. And you've got multi-million-pound houses, which would. There's one house in Morpeth which has got 16 bedrooms, and it's worth about 2.3 million. You know, so your money in Newcastle will go a lot further than it would do if you were in London or any other area. Manchester's exactly the same sort of prices as what London has. So if a footballer's coming up here, then, you know, the property to buy, if they're interested in building their portfolios up in property, this is the place to be, you know, for what you can get for your money. You know, for my house that I've got here, it's probably worth 250,000. But I've got a detached house, 3 bedrooms. I've got a large garden. You know, I've got more than, you know, for £250,000. It wouldn't buy you. It wouldn't buy you a derelict house in London in some places.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, I mean, the average home in London is well over $1 million, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got to admit, I mean, living in London is a different thing altogether. You've got so much around you, and you've got the city centre living, and I presume Riyadh will be exactly the same. The city centre living is brilliant.
For me, I visited both cities in my life. For the tourists, maybe as any country or capital city, just to visit for tourism for a few days, famous places, and that's it. But for living, I would like to live in rather to live in Newcastle, not because the takeover, but it's really really safe, and I don't know, it was so quiet. How I can say it? I didn't struggle with anything since the stranger. Even when I lost in London that time, I just needed a charger for. Really, I never get help.
Yeah.
And the only way I get help in London, I will check you with this. I pretend I don't know English. So yeah.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, but Chris didn't hear it.
I thought you were going to say the only way you got help in London was John Justice Allen from Newcastle.
Yeah.
No, it was because my phone was off, and it's a long story, and it was late. Anyway, but in Newcastle, people very friendly, and I'm not. People know me in Newcastle. A lot of people in Newcastle doesn't know me, so it's saying hi always. First reaction, if you just eye contact, they will say, "Are you right?"
Exactly.
If you gotta say it in Jordy, are we?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but at the beginning, okay, when I say okay, that's what Dave told me, but it was very quickly. So I said, "Did I do something wrong? Do I look something wrong, or what's wrong?" It was first reaction, and it's like with so enthusiasm. So that's so lovely.
But that's it. If when you went to meet Junior, the people around Junior, and they take you into that. They take you into their group. They may have never met you before, but they take you into their group and say, "Sit down, we'll have a chat."
That's what I think about. And regards the beat, also the Thai inside is amazing. Really, it's nice to be there.
The first day when you came to Newcastle, I took you down to the quayside.
Yeah,
and we're walking along past the Tyne Bridge, and that man come up and says, "You're that bloke off the telly." And he says, "I watch you." He says, "You're our lead. You're our lead."
But I'm not talking. But I understand. Yeah, it was lovely, but I meant that the place itself, not about the people. And remember the show we did, Chris, when I went over the bridge. Yeah, and someone just came and also say hi to me, and I know he doesn't know me at all, but really it was nice, great moment. So let's go to number 8, which is Northumberland National Park.
Yeah. Yeah. As I've already said, yeah, Northumberland National Park is probably one of the most beautiful areas. And like I say, it's only 1 hour, it's a maximum hour drive outside of Newcastle. And it's not far to go. And you just can take yourself away from the city life completely. So, you know, and this is some of the things that our footballers who come to Newcastle, they've got to take this scenery into context and just say, look at, yes, I'm living in this. I'm playing for a city football club in the Goldfish Bowl, but I can get out that Goldfish Bowl and I can go and walk around the hills of Northumberland and not see anybody, you know, for hours, because it's so out of the way. It's just one of those beautiful places. So again, as I've said to you before, you know, the countryside around here is amazing. You know, and you're only an hour away from Newcastle city centre, and even less if you live in Darras Hall. You're only 45 minutes away if you live in Darras Hall. Yeah,
I agree. Unfortunately, my regret is that when I've come up to the Northeast, I've never been out of. I basically have never been out of the Newcastle city center.
yeah.
Pretty much between the St. James Park and Quayside and a little bit of Gateshead, but I haven't even seen like the Angel of the North or anything like around outside of the center.
Right. Next time you and Owlead are in town, you know, I'll happily take you to the Angel of the North. I'll take you up to the Northumberland National Park, take you around. I'll take you to some of the lovely places.
Yeah, I want to go to the beach.
The beaches. It depends which beach you want to go to. That's something to come later on.
Where the castle on the beach.
Yeah, that's Dunstan. That's Bamborough.
Yeah.
Yes. We can do all that next time you come up. Just give me a ring and I'll take. That's Druridge Bay. Would you believe they planned on that beach? They wanted to build a nuclear power station.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And guess
where
what?
Where is this?
Druridge Bay.
Is that north or south of city center?
That's north of Newcastle. It's probably about 20 miles north of Newcastle.
Okay.
In Druridge Bay, they wanted to build, like I say, a nuclear power station on there. But
sorry, I was talking. I was on mute. This is northeast coastline. This one.
Yeah, it's northeast coastline. Yeah, that's northeast coastline. That's Druridge Bay, and up from there's all the way up Northumberland. All the beaches are like that up in Northumberland. Whether that's Druridge Bay, whether you're up by Dunstanburgh, Bede.
Yeah, Whitley Bay is what I've heard about. With Mogdy is talking about.
Yeah, we'll show you Tynemouth in a minute, Chris. But like these beaches here are the most unspoiled beaches anywhere. There's no commercialization. There's that where that is north at Druridge Bay. There's actually a Druridge Bay Country Park, and there's some lakes just next to that. And from there you can go water skiing. You can go jet skiing on these on the water parks. But the beach is actually completely unspoiled. So when they tried to build the power station, all hell let loose. All hell let loose. The protests went far and wide, and in the end, the Geordies won out, or the Northumberlanders won out, and the beaches remained to be still one of the best beaches in the area. Lovely place to walk your dogs.
How far from this both picture?
With that, there's
Look,
Tynemouth.
Sands at Tynemouth.
That's Long Sands at Tynemouth, just before you get to Whitley Bay. And that's about, if you go up the coast, it's about 25 miles further up the coast to get to Druridge Bay from there. If you go up the coastline, or if you want to, you want to walk around the coast, there is a coastal route you can walk, but it'll take you quite a little bit of time.
So, Chris, any beach in London?
we have a little bit of the shore of the Thames, where people walk along the shore to scavenge. You understand the word scavenge? To look for old pieces of pottery or other things that have washed up out of the river.
Yeah, mudlarking. Yeah, because that's just thick mud and down the Thames. But the Thames estuary is a nice place, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
the Thames estuary is nice, but
yeah.
that's not in London, though, is it? The Thames estuary it's out towards Kent.
Yeah, like towards Southend on Sea.
Yeah, Southend. Yeah,
where there is an airport, so you can fly.
I tell you what. When I was working for the Department of Transport, that's one of the areas I was actually dealing with, Southend Airport, and I had to officially stop up all the highways around by the Southend Airport, because of the security. So I had to make the roads all taken out of ownership. So and it was, the airport is actually it's partly owned by Eddie Stobbart, I believe.
Yeah. I've only been to Southend one time, and it was in the middle of, I decided to go look at a car in the middle of a big snowstorm. So it was like, I don't know why I couldn't drive it. So I went out all the way to Southend on the train or whatever. And it was just a massive snowstorm, and the airport was shut down. So kind of thought, okay, I've seen Southend. I don't need to see this place again. But so just to our international viewers, you have a number of choices of airports in London. I think only international is two, is Gatwick and Heathrow. So if you fly into London, now they're calling it London Southend Airport.
Yeah.
It's quite a trek. Don't fly into London Southend if you're intending to stay in London, because it takes quite a long time to get back into London from Southend Airport.
And similarly, everybody flies into the northeast. Newcastle is the international airport. Middlesbrough Teesside Airport is just a little backwater airport. It's never going to be as big as Newcastle. And
there's no airport in Sunderland.
Well, there used to be. It's now the Nissan car.
I know. So Malcolm's had to fly into Newcastle Airport.
Yeah.
Now only five evidence or 5 reasons for footballers to come to Newcastle. I hope Haaland is watching our show, and Coutinho and the players. All right. So culture. We have the Baltic area.
Yeah.
And we have. I didn't write it. I didn't understand. I don't know culture. This is in London.
Wait, if you go to London,
no, that's Newcastle.
No, that's Newcastle. If you go back,
that's Newcastle. Okay.
Yeah, you go back to the picture. That one there. That's the.
That's the. I visited that. Yeah.
You did. You were in that little box at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously the London has the Tate Modern. Yeah, which is in the old Battersea Power Station, I believe.
Yeah.
Whereas Newcastle's Contemporary Art Centre is called the Baltic, and that's a disused flour mill, It was Hovis's flour mill, and it's now the Contemporary Arts Centre in Newcastle, and it's very much has the same sort of exhibitions as what we have in the Tate Modern. So again, if you're a footballer who likes his culture, then we have our own Contemporary Arts Centre. You don't have to go to the Tate in London or in Liverpool. We have the Baltic. The Baltic is ours. And secondly, as part of our culture, we have London has the what do you call it? I forgot what they call it now. The South Bank, Bank Centre, which is more like your contemporary music place.
Yeah.
This is the Sage Gateshead. We call it the Alien because obviously it's shaped like the alien's head of the famous Alien film.
Yeah.
But the Sage is you're on mute, Owleed.
Sega Art. I think Sega Art.
The Sage.
Sage.
Yeah.
Sage. Yeah, and the Sage is a conference music venue, conference and contemporary music venue. There's concerts can take place in there, but they're not rock concerts. They're more acoustic type concerts or orchestra.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. But it's a very popular centre, and it's unique. It's beautiful inside, and it's just from the outside when you look at it, you just think, wow, what a building.
Yeah. And then at night they light it up and have different kinds of light displays on it. It's
beautiful, beautiful place for people to. Again, we don't always, we always assume that footballers are always party animals, but there's plenty of footballers out there who like a bit of culture, and we're cultured. We've got culture in the northeast.
Yeah.
We aren't all thick. We aren't all stupid. We like our entertainment as much as anybody, and the
I can witness on that.
You can't what? You can't what?
Witness on that. I mean, like. I hope not miss English mistake again.
You're not. You were saying.
No. I mean, I can witness on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so let's move on. Okay.
I know you're not a cultural person. And of course. But
I am party person, صراحة, actually. Yeah.
Yes. And the nightlife, and this is just across the water from the Sage, and it's across the road from across the river from the Baltic. And this
any welcoming party for Trippier like this?
Yeah, there'll be a big party.
This is the quayside.
The quayside, yeah.
Okay, this is right where my hotel was.
Where was your hotel?
At the Malmaison, so right outside of the Millennium Bridge.
Oh, you want the Malmaison? Yes, this is the pitch and piano, and est, which is just outside the Malmaison.
Yeah.
It's the Malmaison. The pitch and piano is a nice pub. It's where I met Paul Gascoigne when he was having his relapse. When he had a relapse, he was in there. And I bought him a drink. And I said, "Do you want to buy a non-alcoholic drink?" He said, "Yeah." And I bought him a non-alcoholic drink. And next thing I know, he's probably been on the beer all day.
like this guy, not this guy. Wait, right. I can't point. How do I point to Owleed?
Okay, so you said number one party. Why number one, Dave?
What's that?
Party town is Newcastle. You said
number one party town. Yeah, it is the number one. Party town.
Yeah. Why?
Why? Because because we are so friendly. Because people, like I say, we welcome people in, and we, yourself. I mean, when you come, you felt the love from everybody else. Anybody else?
Yeah, I know.
When everybody else comes to Newcastle, other ordinary people from other parts of the country, the first thing we'll do is buy them a pint.
Yeah.
You know, we'll say, hey, do you want a pint? You know, you've come from London, you've come from Manchester, you've come from Liverpool, but everybody flocks to Newcastle because they can have a good party, they can have a good time. And then
Oh, you know that, yeah. That Newcastle is famous for its nightlife. You didn't know that? You knew that, Owlie. Come on.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, it's famous for.
I know. Show to the players.
Yeah, but, I mean,
many times,
many
That's
times
one
on
thing
it.
that we know. Yeah.
Yeah, many times on a weekend, the number of hen parties or stag parties from around the country.
Yeah.
A lot of Premier League.
We need to explain that.
Yeah.
To our international viewer. Hen party and stag party, our lead is like before people get married, they have one last big party with their girls or their guys.
Yeah, I know that. I know.
Okay.
That. I know. It's familiar. Yeah. Everybody do it, even here sometimes, but different.
Different. Yeah, you're right.
But same purpose.
Same purpose, yeah. And you know, they come to Newcastle for that experience. But as well, a lot of Premier League clubs, when they were having their Christmas parties, a lot of the Premier League teams came to Newcastle for their parties. You know, before they were back in the olden days, anyway. Certainly back 10 years ago, before Premier League teams were before fitness became and drinking and eating was banned among Premier League players. But certainly a lot of Premier League teams and their players would come out on a Newcastle on a night out, you know, whereas the Newcastle players would always go somewhere else because they experience that every weekend.
I'm wondering, does for example, Strawberry Blaze, sometimes players came and parties occasionally, for example, like Strawberry Blaze.
And the Strawberry, no, I think,
not likely. Very famous.
It's too small for players to go to places with their own private room or something.
Yeah, they'll go to.
No, I mean they go to something more private, maybe.
Yeah, more private.
Yeah, of course, that's true, Julia. So where can you go in private? Say
when you go down the big market.
Yeah,
there's a lot of clubs down the big market have VIP areas, and they can actually close them off. So you'll find a lot of VIPs will have their parties down there. I forgot what you call some of them because I don't frequent them sort of bars anymore. Yeah. I'm too old to frequent them sort of bars. But yeah, there's bars down Newcastle where they have their VIP only. I know that Ant and Deck, they've got their own club down there. They've got a club down there that they own, and a lot of the celebs will go to that club. But more often than not, you find that a celebrity wants to mix with the Geordie lads and lasses. They'll want to do that, So there's not many places where there is a VIP area, but because majority of people want to mix, they want to feel that atmosphere. So
yeah,
and that's just it. Newcastle, it's just a big party area. We like to have a party, and that's Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night.
So can I go next time? Am I considered a kind of celebrity in Newcastle?
Oh yeah, if you went down the big market, if you went down there, certainly if you had your thub and your guitar on here, they'll know you. That's all we do. But
maybe not your girls, not your girls with blonde hair.
Why?
Yeah. No, joking.
All right. So let's go to the most two reason, or final two reason why footballers have to come to any place else.
Who wouldn't want to play in that arena? It's the theatre it's the cathedral on the hill. It's the noise.
And the city centre, city of Newcastle.
It's right back bang in the city centre, exactly. It's just one place. I mean, this weekend we've got Cambridge United coming up for a FA Cup game. Now, those players, you know, it's that game against Cambridge United, who are in League One, you know, in the same league as Sunderland. And that game is sold out. It's a 52,000 sellout.
Yeah,
now,
they're bringing 5,000, right? And they sold
Yeah.
out 5,000.
You know, Cambridge United players will never have ever played in front of such a large crowd. You know, and they'll have 5,000 of their own supporters here. It's going to be, you know, a massive atmosphere. They'll absolutely love it. You know, and that's what it is about playing at St. James's. St. James's is a fantastic place to play football. And this is actually this is number one.
This is number one, the Toon Army.
Yeah, Toon Army at number one. I mean, I don't know if you've got that's a video of when we were
since they blocked my account, I'm afraid from any video.
Right.
So just put screenshot.
So that's when we were 4-0 down against Manchester City, and the fans were still singing, still waving flags, still trying to get behind the team. Now that's the Geordies all over. We have seen what Eddie Howe is trying to do. We have seen what Amanda, Meardad, Jamie, and Al Rumia are trying to do. And we are getting behind that vision, that project. And there's no better fan in the world than a Newcastle fan. There's no better fan base than Newcastle United. We're not Manchester City. We're not Chelsea. We're not Arsenal. We're not Liverpool. We're Newcastle. And, you know, we sing it. We are the best supporters in the world. And because we've had no success, we haven't had success. All those other teams that I've mentioned have had success. Yet we can still sell out a game against a first division team. 52,000. Guarantee you, whoever Man City's playing this weekend, whoever Liverpool's playing this weekend, if their games go ahead, of course, Arsenal, who they're playing this weekend, unless they're playing another top team in the Premier League, they'll not sell out. But Newcastle will sell out because we love the football, we love what's going on, and we're getting behind the owners, we're getting behind the team, as we always will do. And heaven forbid, if we ever win something, you're going to need a stadium the size of Wembley to fill it, to make sure you can get everybody in, because you will get 100,000 every week. If Newcastle win, start and do what Man City did, what Liverpool did, what Arsenal did, what Chelsea have done, guarantee it, you'll need a bigger stadium, twice the size of what we've got now. You'll need a bigger stadium, and that is massive.
Maybe not twice. That'd be 110,000.
Honestly, Chris, you know, I've been to Barcelona and I've seen Barcelona. I think we could match Barcelona for 110,000 crowd.
Yeah, the cool thing about the new Camp Nou is that it's built down into the ground.
Yeah.
So that the pitch is actually like underground, and that, you know, so they can fit more rows in without going so high on the skyline in Barcelona.
Yeah. But again, the number one reason why any footballer would want to come to St. James's Park, want to come to Newcastle, is because you're going to be playing in front of 52,000 ardent fans who will support you to the hilt. If you give us 100% effort, we'll give you 100% support. And that's why a footballer who wants to come to Newcastle, that's the main reason why they should come.
Kenny,
yeah. Kenny Trippier, do you think which of these reasons he came most? Just
yeah. Where to me,
Difficult question.
The reason why he's came because he wants to come back to the UK, and he sees Newcastle as a place where he can show off his skills and show off his talent. Because
Yes.
I don't think he would get that same opportunity if he went to Chelsea, if he went to Tottenham. He wouldn't be first choice. At
Man United. Yeah.
At Newcastle, he's going to be first choice. He is going to be one of the leaders. So yeah, that's why he's coming to Newcastle for.
Yeah, and he can play
the whole world
or the left.
the whole world now talking about Kieran Trippier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
not just Newcastle.
Yeah, no, the whole world is talking about it. And they'll say. And did you see that Sven Botman actually put a like?
Yes,
he seen Trippier had signed, and Sven Botman had put a like. He liked it.
If this is really happening, this is big hint.
No, this really happened. Sven Botman liked it. He was like full of praise that Newcastle had signed Kieran Trippier. You know, watch this space. Watch this space.
Yeah.
There is also, we'll do an hour 5.
Transparency.
But there is one thing you didn't mention in those tins, Tab, Dave, and Chris. And because we are the richest
club in the world. What's that, Chris? Chris, what's that again?
Yeah.
I'm kind of. I want to downplay that because you know we are not going to spend lavishly. We're going to spend responsibly, smartly. Everything is data driven. So I believe that I like this term like splash the cash, you know, but I'm trying to be realistic. Although now we're linked to Coutinho, so I don't know. Our Leeds dreams. I was asking you about Coutinho. We'll talk
dream
about
actually.
it.
My dream is Haaland.
Well, yeah. First Coutinho, then Haaland.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's a great input, Dave. Thank you, Chris, for your contribution. طبعا هذا البرنامج زي ما قلنا في أسباب للاعب للقدوم إلى نيوكاسل بدل من الأماكن الأخرى، فعشان كذا كان أغلبه بالإنجليزي لأنه موجه ترجمنا طبعا أهم النقاط فيه، أهم الأماكن اللي قالها ديف. طبعا بعد شوي رح نتكلم عن تقريبا رح ناخذ after half hour break and we'll come to our daily show Transparency day 5 سوق الانتقالات اليوم الخامس، وراح طبعا الحلقة راح أول بأول في وقت يعني راح نترجم لايف وراح نشوف آخر أخبار الانتقالات مع كريس وديف أيضا بعد قليل، ونلتقيكم أيضا في الساعة السعودية معاكم مع مستر ال طبعا، وحلقة كاملة باللغة العربية. بالنسبة للغة العربية والإنجليزية هذا شيء أنا أعاني منه طويلة، وأغلب الضيوف أحيانا يتحدثون فقط اللغة الإنجليزية، فتصير في يعني أنا أحاول أنوع وأسوي ميكس يعني بين الحلقات، كل شيء بالإنجليزي وخصوصا الأشياء المهمة تنقال بالعربي. فأعتذر بس على اللي أسألوني على الانتقالات اللي راح نتكلم عنها بعد شوي، والترجمة فيه طبعا مع ديف سلسلة اعرف عن نيوكاسل مع ديف. جميع الحلقات السابقة كانت مترجمة، لكن حبينا هذه اللغة هذه الحلقة اللغة الإنجليزية لبعض الأهداف. فنراكم بعد قليل. Thank you lads. See you in a few minutes. Cheers.
Cheers lads.